Welcome to the Alexa Tech Talk. We are all used to Alexa living in those tiny little Echo devices scattered around our homes. But breaking news, Alexa has been set free. My name is Klaus Goffart. I'm a senior solution architect in the Alexa Automotive team, and thank you today for joining me on a session on how to get your skill ready for on-the-go interactions. Alexa has been created 8 years ago, and since then, you, the skill developers, have worked tirelessly to build trust with our customers. You've created engaging experiences that provide value to customers at home around the world. Customers integrate your skills into their daily lives, routines, and friendships. But ambient computing is arriving. Alexa is becoming the proactive, personal, and predictable assistant that transcends channels. Smartphones, wearables, and connected cars are just the first step of getting there. Customers now expect Alexa and your skill to work wherever they are. Alexa on the go is actually an opportunity for you as a skill developer to extend your reach. Customers can now interact with your skill while walking the dog, buying groceries, or driving to school. But customers expect your skill to adapt to the situation that they are currently facing. This transition from at-home use to on-the-go use should be smooth and not too much visible from a customer perspective. Today, we're going to talk about how to tackle this transition. First, I'm going to introduce you to 3 situations that are special to on-the-go use and can tell you more about how your skill should adapt in those situations. Second, I'm going to give you some background on how Alexa on-the-go actually works. And third, we're going to talk about a toolkit that you can use to improve customer experience while on the go. Let's get started. Alexa can be helpful in pretty much any situation, but there are special on-the-go situations where Alexa and your skill can really add value to a customer's life. So let's have a look at those situations. Pretty much any situation where a customer might be carrying anything, from groceries to water cases or just random boxes. In those situations, you just don't have a hand to spare to take out your phone and look something up or do something. And the use cases are just endless. You can just open the door while you're carrying groceries, close the garage door after you've taken your car out of the garage, switch off the lights after you walked out of your house, or even just providing information. Imagine being in a grocery store and you're carrying lots of groceries that you've picked already and you want to know what's left on the shopping list. Well, putting everything down, taking out your smartphone is one option, but just asking Alexa for your skill and you return those items left on the grocery list is way more convenient. A different situation are stressful and rushed situations. This might be catching a flight, finding a train that's about to leave, or just finding something or somebody in a crowded stadium. In those situations, it can add stress to customers' lives to take out their phone and look something up. Since even taking out your phone face down in a crowded, crazy environment might be uncomfortable for people. They may be afraid of dropping the phone or losing it or just bumping into somebody. So in those situations, just being able to ask Alexa and stay heads up looking at the crowd is already reducing stress for customers. And third, all in-vehicle situations are perfectly suited for voice interactions. While driving, safety is of utmost importance. The driver should focus on the road at any time and not look at the screen, try to touch something or try to find a button. In those situations, your skill can add a lot of value. First, we have the vehicle-centric use cases like searching a gas station or search for a parking lot, or even just calling the daycare center to tell them that you're late 5 minutes. But actually, driving time is perceived as unproductive by lots of drivers. So adding just a tiny bit of productivity to that time can already go a long way in making customers happy. It can be as simple as adding items to a shopping list or ordering groceries for pickup later. All this already provides lots of values for customers and builds habits with your customers. Just summarizing, go over those 3 situations and just think about what your skill might add to the customer's lives in those situations. How can the customer utilize your skill in those situations? And what would be the perfect interaction with your skill from a customer perspective? Answering those questions already gets you close to improving your skill for on-the-go interactions. So in order to understand how Alexa on the go works, let's have a look at the devices that implement Alexa on the go. On the one hand, we have smartphones with the Alexa app, and we have Echo wearable devices like Echo Frames, Echo Buds, or Echo Loop. And on the other hand, we have third-party devices that implement Alexa, so smartwatches, earbuds, or headphones. Lastly, there are Alexa-enabled vehicles and aftermarket devices that retrofit Alexa into existing vehicles. Looking at the Alexa-enabled wearables and the aftermarket devices for vehicles, those have 2 different options how to implement Alexa. The first one is the Alexa Voice Services, AVS, and this one is designed to add Alexa to devices that have a standalone internet connection on their own. It's a ready-to-use SDK, it offers managed services and infrastructure, so it makes it really easy to integrate Alexa. The other category of devices are usually smaller accessories that rely on a Bluetooth connection to a paired phone. So just think of earbuds that are paired to a smartphone. For those devices, we offer Alexa Mobile Accessory Kit, AMA, and that one is designed to have like a slim client on the device itself that doesn't use a lot of battery power and offloads the computational and communicational load to the connected phone. On the other hand, Alexa-enabled vehicles. For Alexa-enabled vehicles, we offer the Alexa Auto SDK. It's an easy-to-use and ready-to-use SDK that provides all Alexa functionalities and integrates into the vehicle software stack. It has interfaces that car manufacturers can implement to enable built-in functionalities like media streaming, calling, navigation, or vehicle control. So how to optimize your skill for on-the-go situations? First of all skills are usable on the go as well. There's no special checkbox to check or API to implement. All you need to do is focus on the user experience that you want to provide your customers while on the go. And in order to do so, the first thing you need to do is check, is a user actually on the go right now? The recommended method of doing so is to see if the device that the customer is using supports the geolocation interface. It sounds a little counterintuitive, but actually devices that know where they are located on this globe are usually those devices that move a lot, so on-the-go devices. I included some sample code how to check. Just be aware that the geolocation tag just needs to be present. If it's an empty object, that's fine. That's usually because you don't have permission to access the geolocation just yet. That leads over to the next topic, how to use the geolocation to infer the customer situation. In order to do so, you need to ask the customer for permission to use the geolocation, and best practice is to include an example why you want to use that information and how you're gonna process it. Just be aware the customer might be on the go and it might not be safe for the customer to accept your permission request right now. Once you have access to the geolocation, you can actually check the coordinate that's returned if it's at an airport, a train station, or within a stadium, referring back to the situation examples mentioned earlier. Another thing you can do is figure out on which road the customer is driving, actually using speed and heading to even determine the direction and how fast he's going. In addition, you can enrich that information with databases that provide you traffic information for the road or the current weather conditions. All these pieces of information help you to tailor your customer experience to the situation that the customer is currently facing. Just a heads up, now we're using the geolocation and you might be used to the device address that's also available. Just a quick reminder to distinguish those two. The device address refers to the address where the Echo devices of a customer are located, so that's usually their home. That doesn't really change a lot. Customers move, but they don't move every day. Geolocation, in contrast, is the current location where the customer is located. So the geolocation actually changes with every request that your skill receives. Just make sure to use the latest and most up-to-date one. And be aware that customer utterances might refer to those two places. A customer might say, Alexa, order pizza to my home, and that would refer to the address, while Alexa, order pizza to my current location would refer to the geolocation. Moving on with the location, lots of skills that are used on the go are used to figure out where to go. So it might be finding the closest restaurant or the best coffee place around. Those skills can use the set destination directive to start a navigation session on the customer's device. I included some sample code here. First thing you need to do is check, does the device support the navigation interface? It's very similar to the geolocation interface that we've checked before. Just check if there's a supported interface.navigation object. Once you've done that, you can use the sample code of just building your response as usual using response builder, and then add a directive as an array with an object of type navigation set destination, and include a destination object with a single and multi-line and name description of the place you want the user to go to, and of course the coordinate where the navigation should target to. Once you send this directive, the device receives this directive and opens the native navigation app, maybe on a smartphone, maybe in an Alexa-enabled vehicle, and starts the navigation session to that given destination. So it's really convenient for the user and helps a lot in generating value for your skill. If the device does not actually support the navigation interface, you can still do better than just reading out an address or giving a name to the customer to figure it out. There are third-party services available like What3Words that translate any given location into 3 easy-to-remember words, and the customer can then use those 3 words to put into a navigation device. That's way better than just reading the address, so just you're aware. Like we talked about earlier, lots of on-the-go situations are actually noisy and distracting environments. This makes it sometimes hard to understand Alexa's responses. So good advice as usual is be precise and be succinct, just to be more understandable by the user. But you can also implement a repeat intent. That can be used by a user to ask, like, I didn't get that, please repeat, and Alexa just repeats the last answer. Since this is not a common intent for skills to have, just make sure to inform the user about it. Maybe at first on-the-go startup, you can let the customer know that he can at any time ask, please repeat, and the last answer will be repeated. As we've talked about before, lots of on-the-go situations are multitasking situations as well. Users are not only interacting with your skill, they are walking, they are driving, they are carrying stuff around, or they are trying to find something. So their responses to your skill might take a little longer since they're just occupied with something else. Unfortunately, we cannot extend the Alexa timeout for those situations due to privacy reasons. But your skill can help in those situations anyway. You can save the current state of the user's session for the next session. If your skill times out at any point, the user can just open your skill again and resume wherever you've left off. That really helps customers on the go in stressful situations if they don't have to worry about skill sessions timing out. A more sophisticated way of doing this would be to use the new skill resumption feature that's available as a beta. So you can apply right now for that beta period, and you can create like a pause intent. So whenever the user triggers that pause intent, your skill is backgrounded and not the active skill for the user anymore. And the user can ask to resume that session at any time, or you from your backend can push that skill into foreground for the customer again. So just try it out. It's a really nice way of handling those situations as well. Lastly, customers on the go are usually not alone. There's this special thing of driving alone in your vehicle, but pretty much all the other on-the-go situations are in crowded situations where people are around. Just Be aware that customers might not be alone and others might be listening in to what Alexa is saying or what customers are saying. So before you read out any PIN or password or any sensitive information, just make sure that the user is okay with doing that in this current situation. That helps a lot in keeping, passwords private and not spill information out into the world. Okay, now we've gone over all of the tips how to improve your user experience on the go. Let's have a look at some skills that implement those tips. Let's have a look at a skill that implements different responses for at-home and on-the-go usage. The Handle skill offers soundscapes to its customers to help them sleep, focus, or relax. I'm now going to invoke the skill right here on this Echo Dot at home, and afterwards my colleague Prasant will use the skill while driving. Let's compare the differences. Alexa, start Handle.
Good afternoon. Which Handle soundscape do you need?
Focus.
Focus is on. Set an optimal sound volume for better results from your soundscape.
Alexa, stop. Let's see what Prasant is experiencing.
Alexa, start Handle.
Welcome to Handle. Looks like you're ready to go. Choose the soundscape you want for this ride. Relax or focus.
Relax.
Starting your relax session.
So, we've seen that the Handle skill at home is a little more verbose, gives additional information on the soundscapes or functionalities available, and asks open-ended questions like, what soundscape do you want to hear? And the user might need a little more mental load to remember the name of the soundscape. While in the vehicle, the skill is a little more succinct, actually acknowledging the driving task and giving options to choose from. So the user has a really easy time getting the soundscape that's most likely for this situation. This helps the customer focus on the driving task at hand and actually improves its experience and builds habits. Let's recap quickly what we've learned today. First of all, on-the-go skills are the first step towards ambient computing. Your customers are no longer confined to their homes. They can leave the house and experience things out in the world while using your skill. So your skill needs to adapt to those special customer situations. We've talked about how situations can be stressful or distracting. Adapt your skill's responses to those situations and ease customers' lives. We've introduced a toolkit of things you can do to improve customer experience while on the go. You can infer the customer situation using the geolocation and adapt your responses accordingly. Be precise and succinct as usual, and offer a repeat and maybe a pause intent for those stressful situations where customers cannot deal with your skill right away. Lastly, be aware that others might be listening into the conversations your customer is having with your skill while on the go. We've compiled a set of resources that you can use to dig deeper into the topics that we've talked about. And if you have any open questions, suggestions, or just want to share those special customer situations with us, join our Slack channel. Please answer our survey to let us know how we've done and how we can improve. Thanks a lot. It was great talking to you. I hope you enjoyed our tech talk. See you soon.